Anthem has called, and I have answered.
You'll be a hero, Miles.
Look out below! Play nice.
Are you a calm and reasonable person?
It's quite the storm we're having. Seems Fimbulwinter's here to stay. It will pass, though. All things do. In the meantime, how about a story while we warm by the fire? Oh, those filthy spies. That old man sees more now than he did when he had both eyes. Ah, one of my favorites. It's a story of adventure. A father and son working together to overcome insurmountable odds, setting in motion the greatest war the 9 realms have ever seen. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning.
There once was a god from a far-off land who settled in Midgard, disguised as a man. He started a new life, had a wife and a boy. They were happy together. In peace, they found joy. His wife passed away. Kratos mourned with his son. But where one journey ended, a new had begun. Faye's final request, though it seemed rather bleak, spread my ashes atop the 9 realms' tallest peak. As they readied themselves for the long road ahead, a stranger accosted them in their homestead. Baldur sought answers as Odin's hand. Kratos gave none to the Aesir firebrand. They made way for the mountains. Kratos taught the boy skills, keeping godhood a secret but training to kill. Gods were always in danger, this Kratos knew, but secrets, he'd learn, could harm the boy too. They found Mimir in a tree, punishment for his wrongs, so they lopped off his head, and they brought him along. Mimir held ancient wisdom and knew the lost god of war. He warned, tell the boy, but Kratos ignored.
No, now hold on a minute. Is that all that's in there about me?
Something to add?
Actually, yes, I do. You see, Odin, in all of his dreadfully paranoid wisdom, trapped me in that bloody tree for perceived wrongs, and I led quite the colourful life before even meeting him. It all started when I was just a lad in the service of a great fairy king.
Riveting stuff, really. We'll have to get back to that later.
No! Don't turn the page! I wasn't finished!
If Mimir were telling the story, we'd be here all day. Anyways, they met Freya, masquerading as a witch in the woods. A god knows a god. She would aid where she could. She cautioned, you must tell your son he's divine. But Kratos dismissed her. He'd regret this in time. On the road, Baldur's allies, Thor's sons, attacked. Something snapped in Atreus as he tried to fight back. The Aesir lost the battle, but Atreus fell too. Kratos rushed him to Freya. She would know what to do. Freya was disheartened with the father's neglect, but with the heart of Hell's troll, she could save his son yet. Kratos thundered through Helheim and slew the great troll. He had captured its heart, but in his burned a hole. He returned with his offering. Freya cast a keen spell, and Atreus was healed, though not all was well. Kratos sat with his son, and for once he was true, revealing he was a god, and Atreus was too. Delighted at first, it seemed all would go smoothly. Then arrogance followed and bent Atreus toward cruelty. With tensions flared, Baldur preyed on their discord, casting back into Helheim Kratos and his ward. In Helheim, they learned Freya caused Baldur's plight. His mother's ill-conceived curse robbed his life of all light. They emerged from the realm as they neared Journey's end, but Baldur appeared and attacked once again. Atreus and Kratos were ready this time, stronger together with their power combined. Freya intervened on behalf of her son, begging Baldur's forgiveness for all that she'd done. Baldur strangled his mother. Kratos lunged with a snap. Baldur slumped. Freya wailed. And he died in her lap. Something changed in the world. Snow started to fall. The dawn of Fimbulwinter. The dusk of it all. Atreus asked, "Is this what it means to be gods? Killing our parents forever at odds?" "No!" Kratos bellowed as he dropped to one knee. "We will be the gods that we choose to be." Finally, together, they reached the Great Peak, finding Jotunheim's temple, the giants' retreat. A prophetic mural showed the life they had led. The boy's mother was giant, they learned as they read. Atreus walked to the cliffside. Kratos eyed the wall slowly. Beneath the boy's picture, a name was etched. Loki. They scattered her ashes and watched as they lifted. Over rolling red hills, the wind danced, and it drifted. Standing side by side, feeling hopeful and new, the boy was at peace. And the father was too. With their promise fulfilled, they returned to their home. They trained day after day, lest they'd reap what they'd sown. Atreus grew restless. Wary, Kratos remained. Ragnarok loomed as the great winter waned.
Don't tell me you're thinking of stopping here. Things were just getting good.
Well, I suppose we could go on a bit longer.
An excellent idea. This is the most dramatic part. On second thought, perhaps we'd better cut it short.
It seems that we're out of time. If you want to know how this story ends, I'm afraid you'll have to find out for yourself.
Until then.
PlayStation.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Bonjour. Queen Arrow, what up?
Hello.
Yeah, I mean that's one heck of a trailer, guys. Honestly.
Right?
We're talking about the MJX one. We're talking about the MJX one. Let's just be clear. Let's just all be clear. We're talking about the MJX
The
one.
better one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk. I don't want to spread rumors. It's not me, but I've heard that rumor is the editor behind that trailer kind of owns Disney in a way, but just rumor.
Indeed.
Yeah.
confirm.
Yeah. Oh wow. All right then.
Can confirm.
Right then. Welcome to all of our viewers on Twitter, Instagram. Where else are we live? YouTube as well.
Are we
Well,
live on
Twitter and
Instagram?
YouTube. Twitter and
Are we
YouTube.
live on Twitter and
Twitter
YouTube?
and YouTube, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So for all of people live on Twitter and YouTube, welcome to the seat of Fandom Gaming, brought to you by Movie Jabber and Movie Jabber's gaming team, Arcade Hero. All of those people on the side, on my right. All of those people. Yeah.
We were kidnapped. We don't know why we're here.
Yeah. Blink twice if you're kidnapped. Don't blink. I'll catch you. So, welcome. We're here to basically talk about stuff the fandom. Nothing too serious. Nothing too benign or anything like that. It's just like chill, relax with our very own Queen Arrow over here with us. So we'll be talking about different things amongst the trailers you've seen. If you catch the Ubisoft Forward 2022, we'll be talking about
Ubisoft
it.
Forward, yeah.
Ubisoft Forward 2022. That's what it's called, Senor.
Yeah.
You're not forward into 2022.
Oh wow.
I think we should
Oh,
just
wow.
take Jotham out of this meeting, yeah? Yeah.
Maybe to him. But speaking of it, that's a good way to segue into our panelists. We should call them panelists. I'm calling them panelists. I don't have any other word for them for this evening. Starting with Chris on the top right there. Chris, say hi to the fans and the people.
I'm no longer on the
And
top
then-
right. I am in the center.
You're on the center
it's
right.
much
Look,
better. We can see your face now, unfortunately.
you use the force. You use the force to arrange us again. So we have from right, we have Chris, we have Jotham with man t-shirt, we have Clark, aka Clara, we have Queen Arrow, and finally we have Brian. So yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. Y'all good to go? Y'all set to go?
Yes, we're good to go.
Right. So just to start with, first of all,
Yeah,
in order of trailers, the Assassin's Creed trailer. We're just gonna with the main one, Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Starting with the big guns.
Is that the new
big
one?
guns. Yes, there are a couple of new ones, but it's the what do I call
It's
it?
a new one.
It's the one playing right
New
now.
Plus Max.
It's the one that follows the story
that doesn't
of Basim Ibn. I'm forgetting the last name.
It's Hawk. Basim Ibn
New
Sorry?
Hawk.
Yes,
wow.
yes, thank you for that name. But yeah, so basically it follows the story of Basim before he joined Eivor on his / her journey, where we played with.
Yeah, you won't be.
What's
you
the
won't
canon,
be,
by the way? Eivor.
It's fine.
What's Eivor? Eivor is what's the canon for Eivor? Is it a he or her? Which is the canon?
She, but the way the story was structured is that I think when you're starting Valhalla, they actually offer an option where you can change between both. So I guess gender fluid would be the correct way to address the canon of the game.
Basically, you can choose.
Yeah.
He or she is who you choose to be.
Yes.
No,
So
but actually, the anima what I'm trying to say is the anima offers you the option to switch through them at different points of the story.
Oh, really? So, because when I played before Valhalla is Odyssey, there's no option to switch. Once you're locked in all the way to the end. So
Yeah,
it's interesting.
they said the anima offers you that option, but yeah, that's where Ubisoft is messing with their lore because hashtag women don't sell bullshit.
Yeah. But anyway, so Basim was a supporting character in Valhalla. Spoilers, I think.
He's about to cut his fingers, guys.
Yes.
Keep
yes,
it PG.
yes.
Okay.
Dang, that's so awesome.
So anyway, so Basim was a supporting character in Valhalla, and we are now watching his life before he met Eivor and all that. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm just gonna start right off the bat. As much as they've said they're going back to the core of Assassin's Creed, the stealth gameplay, we're just focusing on one town and all that, I am highly skeptical. Like, my skepticism is very high for this game because I've been burnt. Like, Valhalla is what, 300 plus hours?
It's 300 plus.
Excluding the DLCs.
I'm still playing it up to
300.
now.
Okay. So I'm not really a fan. As much as I do enjoy a long gameplay, I'm not really a fan of those long gameplay, especially when it comes to Assassin's Creed. But that's just my 2 cents, to be honest. I'm highly skeptical, hopeful, but skeptical. What about you? Let's start with Chris. And then we go to Queen Arrow, and then Brian, then Jotham, then Clara.
What do we think about Assassin's Creed? Honestly, after which one was it? After like Valhalla-ish? No, that's not even true. After what was it that came after after Odyssey? I kind of fell off Assassin's Creed, to be honest.
After Odyssey, it was Valhalla.
Before, the first one in the series was
Valhalla.
Origins.
Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, then this. And I fell off after Origins.
Why? Why did you fall
Basically.
off Origins?
Because I felt like once you've played one, you kind of played them, and the story wasn't as appealing to me as the Black Flag era of games. So
Ooh,
yeah,
Black Flag. We have that one. But yeah, okay, I get where you're coming from. I really get where you're coming from. Black Flag really was a peak
yeah,
during
because
that
like
era, and
AC
then
1 to 4 had
yeah,
really good stories, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And even Unity and Rogue. Unity had some issues bug-wise, but the story was good. Rogue was really good as well. The stories
Unity
for those
had
ones
all
were
the
good.
issues.
Yeah.
First of all, Unity had all the issues. It didn't have some issues. It had all the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get when you're working on Assassin's Creed, Unity and Rogue simultaneously.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Crunching.
Yeah.
So who was the next one in our comment section? Who was supposed to? Was it
Was Queen
Arrow?
Arrow.
Yeah. So what do you think about Assassin's Creed Mirage? What are your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, I kind of decided I wouldn't play Valhalla, but I think since it's essential to me understanding the character of Basim, I'm gonna have to play it. But they keep saying they're going to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, which I'd say is a good thing because just watching the trailer, I get the tone of the first Assassin's Creed. So this is essentially an Assassin's Creed remake, but now after the Brotherhood has now been established from Masyaf now to become a global kind of organization. So I do hope that they don't fuck it up because I am not happy with how Ubisoft has taken the direction they took with the laws since they killed off Desmond Miles in Assassin's Creed 3 because I think there needs to be a balance between the modern day lore and the historical aspects because I think they can be both compelling if they're executed properly. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle it. I might pre-order, but I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. But yeah, those are just some of my some of my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I do also hope they might touch a little bit on Iltani since she was also she was essentially an Iraqi assassin who killed Alexander the Great. If you remember Iltani, she was the assassin who killed Alexander the Great, and she has a statue under Villa Monteriggioni in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yes. So, well, now my question will be first of all to Yukinaro is the death of Desmond Miles. I know you mentioned that. Why didn't you like it? Just touch on that briefly. Why didn't you like the death of Desmond Miles?
The way they were building up this story was it was supposed to be this whole as end game, and the way they just executed it, it's because people said that the modern day storyline was boring, and granted it was because they didn't actually do anything with it. And going back to now the essential reboot of the Assassin's Creed franchise, going the RPG route with Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla onwards. I think they should have gone the RPG route in terms of you can actually choose the gender of the modern day assassin, rather than do it with the historical, aspect because you end up messing up your lore, if that makes any sense. So,
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, choose maybe between Desmond Miles or Diana Miles. Then, if you're talking about writing, your choices have consequences. Why not entice people to, I don't know, explore the more you explore, the more informed decisions you make in the modern day story. I think I told you this, Wes, when we were discussing this during one of our calls. Yeah, but
I remember.
Yeah, I feel those are just some of the ways they could have rebooted the franchise in a way that makes sense. Not this whole, I don't know if you should call it virtue signaling or being tone deaf or just being flat out ignorant.
what if we call it all of them?
Good point.
All of the above. So yeah, before we go to the next person, I'd like to mention some of our comments from Joel Kager, who's hyping God of War Ragnarok on YouTube. Kennedy says he must get his hands on this game. Sipsy. Alvin Tindika has some power ups. I was gonna call them power ups. Hello Nerdside and Black Flag being the goat of Assassin's Creed. I kid you not. Let me just do a quick segue right here.
100.
Just a quick segue. I feel like Ubisoft is trying to capture the spirit of Black Flag with Skull and Bones.
Definitely.
But they're failing.
Definitely.
Because what made the moment-to-moment battle in Black Flag was the fact that there was more than just the ship and everything else. It was like the ship was the backbone and everything else stretched from the ship. The pirate was the backbone, everything stretched from being a pirate. It was a really interesting relationship between you being an assassin and you being a pirate. Do you plunder everything you see or do you help people? And then with the DLCs from Black Flag, which are also really good, it's like now they say they're like, oh, people like being a pirate, yes, let's make an exclusive pirate game. And I'm like, no, that's not what we want. We like being an assassin who is a pirate. We don't like being pirates. Exactly. So, and then there was another pirate game aside from Skull and Bones. It has a weird name. I'm forgetting it. But yeah, so that's the whole idea of that. Next to speak was Brian, I'm guessing. What do you think of Assassin's Creed Mirage? What are your hopes and doubts and all that?
I kind of agree with Quinaro in terms of, to a degree, I'm curious to see them return back to their roots, focused more on the stealth action kind of game, because with the whole the RPG elements, I feel like they started going like with Origins are like, oh, we can go open world, we can go RPG, we can make it bigger with now like Valhalla and so on, and it started losing the core that made Assassin's Creed. I was even discussing it the other day, like and we're going to discuss it with Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is essentially going to be in Japan. It's basically Ghost of Tsushima. Basically, because it's open world, yeah. And even because I started playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla when it got onto PlayStation Plus, I felt they were trying really hard to dip into the whole RPG, like really, really push into the whole RPG elements, customizing the character and so on. And they got lost in the lore. Like they forgot about the lore. They're just like, this is what we want now. They forgot about the lore. They forgot about
continuity.
Let
me tell you something.
They're just like, this is what sells now.
Yeah. So let me tell you something weird about. Let me tell you something weird about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I realized with the updates. So I was doing my usual scoop of the Assassin's Creed Valhalla updates, and but anyway, so what I realized was you can get a unibeam, like an Iron Man unibeam in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I sat down, I looked at it, and I was like, okay, law speaking, how does this make sense? It's encroaching into the. Speaking of which, you guys should really watch a channel known as Just Try Phase. He talks about MMORPGs in a really, really good sense. But I'm just gonna borrow something from what he says. He says there are features you put in a game that break the immersion of the game. Right, so you're playing, which Quinaro and we talked about this a couple of times, where you're playing a certain game, you're fully immersed, you're an assassin, you're sneaking, or whatever, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're Iron Man of the Unibeam. Do you see? It makes no sense other than it feeling. Not necessarily it being it feeling like a cash grab. Do you want to become more powerful? Yeah, here's a Unibeam, blast your enemies away. So that's where I feel this discourse comes from, and that which borrows into what you're saying, Brian, where they're looking at it and saying like, okay, what if you make it RPG? Sure, it being RPG, we can sell, which I know Quinaro hates with all her heart XP boosters. We can sell gear, we can sell everything else. We can basically sell you what you would gain from playing the game at a price. And this is where I'm like, you're losing the soul of Assassin's Creed, not because it's a cash market, but because you're taking away the gameplay element from us. So that's where I feel you're coming from and everything else. Has Jotham dipped? Seems Jotham has dipped. Yes.
Nah, man.
Oh,
sorry,
cool. So
I haven't dipped.
Oh, cool. So actually, Jotham, this is one that I want to ask you. With your history with gaming,
look at Clara laughing.
With your history with gaming, no. With your history with gaming, Jotham, what do you think about number one, the Assassin's Creed trailer, and your hopes for Assassin's Creed?
Has Jotham ever picked up a controller in his entire life?
The fans don't laughing. I was laughing what you guys say. The fans don't know that. The fans don't know that. Please.
Yeah,
the fans don't know
let's
that.
be corporate, guys. Let's be
the fans don't know that. Jotham, with your history, with your clearly defined history as a gamer, what do you think?
My massive reputation.
The massive reputation. What do you think? But
long history as a gamer.
Long history. My renowned.
But you know what's cool about Jotham is that he offers a different perspective. All of us here are gamers. Jotham technically is not. So his perspective as being outside looking in is really important.
A pleb.
So yeah. So what do you think about Assassin's Creed Mirage and everything else?
Well, I was just laughing. You guys were talking about how the game is long and all that stuff, and here I am watching the Ragnarok trailer and going like 6 minutes. Boy, that's like. Anyway, seriously, jokes aside, I haven't played Assassin's Creed. I haven't. The new trailer looks really dope. Personally, I'm one of those fans who, like, when a game adaptation is made, I'm pretty much okay with it. Controversial point: I liked Prince of Persia, the movie.
That's not controversial. Okay, that's
the movie.
I also like. I also like the movie. No, I also like
my kiss
it.
back.
Oh my god!
What for real?
Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Are you serious?
Jake, that's the point.
That's
I was like, Jake, I like it. Jake is in it. I'm watching it.
Yeah,
you have just been turned around.
Chat, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this, chat?
First
how
of all,
the turntables.
How Jotham has become a DJ and he has turntables. Yes, Queen Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, whitewashing issues aside, I don't mind that. Okay, I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a pretty good job. So yeah, in hindsight, they should have brought in a Persian, because since it's set in Persia, but I still thought he brought the goods, and it kind of brought the spirit of the lore. And that's my humble opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Let me say something. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I was just like, I know nothing about the game. I've seen the game. I actually had to check out the game trailers because I'm one of those guys. Like, this game has come out. Game trailers, cutscenes. That's pretty much me. But then, I do agree. I was like, this guy is not Persian. That was just my only reason with it. Like, I don't know much about this game, but it's very distracting. Going like, this guy is not Persian. He's not Persian, and he's Prince of Persia. That's just about it.
Okay, I hope Brian was saying something.
Did you guys, because you've just talked about the movie, you reminded me, did you guys see the leaked quote-unquote gameplay of that Prince of Persia sequel that they were supposed to do?
Yes, Sons of Time.
Sons of Time. Yeah.
Was it a remake? It was like half a sequel,
it was
half
like
a remake.
it was like half a sequel,
Sons
half
of
a remake. I think it was a sequel.
I didn't know that.
It was a sequel,
You do
and the
realize
gameplay.
Assassin's Creed was made as a sequel for Prince of Persia: Sons of Time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, the game franchise,
Just look
was
that
built
up.
as a sequel.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was made as a sequel to Prince of Persia: Sons of Time. And
No wonder it looked familiar.
So the movie itself, for me, it's not the whitewashing. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the Prince of Persia movie. Jake Gyllenhaal was pretty entertaining. He brought out the character quite well compared to
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. My problem was the comedic timing was completely off. Like, it was a funny movie. I don't know if it was a comedy, That's what I enjoyed the movie. It's just the comedy wasn't comedying. You know what I mean? It wasn't giving. Yeah. So I
But
enjoyed the movie, but it missed the mark. That's it. But yeah, back to Assassin's Creed though.
yeah, Clara, while you're still
Okay.
speaking, you can speak on Assassin's Creed, unless you tell me you still have something to say.
Yeah, well, my
Uh-huh.
other notable experience with Assassin's Creed was the movie that came out with Michael Fassbender.
Doesn't exist.
I'm not. Yeah, again,
Not
I
a
could
real
just
thing.
from the get go that movie was. I was just like, yeah, this movie doesn't feel and doesn't smell like a faithful adaptation. It just lacked the gravitas
it's
and the
not.
sense of where it just
Yeah,
it
Kunara.
didn't. Yeah.
Kunara is really
Okay.
blessed with this issue.
The problem with I think the problem with trying to adapt video game movies is such, I'd say immense lore. You're trying to stuff in everything in under 2 hours, which was the main problem. I could see where they were going with it, but maybe if I was someone who isn't familiar with the lore of Assassin's Creed, the movie would feel all over. You're trying to talk about the Apple of Eden. You're trying to talk about, the span, the main character Carl's ancestors being from the era of the Spanish Inquisition. You're trying to
The
talk about
bleeding
the Templars,
effects.
and then you're also trying to fit in visions of other assassins, and also I think I saw like Connor's Tomahawk. I saw I think Altair's, I don't know, Hidden Blade. And if I'm someone who's in familiar with the law, that's all random shit to me.
Yeah.
So I
is.
think they were better off. I don't know. I know they gave the rights to Netflix to create adaptations. They should have done that, from the get-go.
We're
But
gonna
it's
speak
just make a
on.
series. Or
We're
just
gonna
make a
speak
series.
we're gonna speak on adaptations of Assassin's Creed. But Clara, before we
Yeah.
jump on to this, I want to hear your thoughts on Mirage, because I know you are an avid and a big fan of Assassin's Creed. I want to hear what your thoughts on this. First of all, especially when it comes to it being now, quote unquote, bogged down to one area.
Okay, my relationship with Assassin's Creed is quite difficult to explain because my love
Nairo.
for AC. Yes.
How long did you guys date?
Yeah, what happened? What happened?
It's
Do we need therapy
on
for
and
this?
off
Tell us
situation.
everything.
Tell us everything.
But the
He
thing
cheated.
is,
He
okay,
cheated.
for
Oh yeah, he
me,
cheated. Yeah.
yeah, for me, my best Assassin's Creed, and you can come at me if you want, was Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. Those two, for
Yeah,
me.
it makes
Those
sense.
are good.
Yeah, it makes
Those are
sense. Those are good.
absolutely-
Those are really good.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Exactly, they were
If
the
you say-
best because the story was concrete, the gameplay was concrete, the experience was different. Now, that's the last time I was really into Assassin's Creed until I met the most recent game I have played was Assassin's Creed Origins, and to me, it wasn't so bad. It takes me back to where it all started. Cool, we're in Greece. Cool, but the gameplay was so generic.
That's Odyssey.
I enjoyed
That's Odyssey.
it.
That's Odyssey. That's Odyssey.
Yeah.
Was it Odyssey? No. I'm
Yeah.
talking about
No.
Origins. Ptolemy.
Egypt.
Well, that was
Yeah, the one in Egypt. Egypt.
Yeah.
Origins. Yes, the gameplay was very generic. I enjoyed it because it took me back to old RPGs. Tomb Raider. Okay, Tomb Raider was my favorite. So there's a mark, you're supposed to go get this thing. There's you get what I mean? Pick this thing, take it to this guy. There was a lot of side missions. I didn't play the story. The extra quests were so many. I never finished the story, and I'm not complaining. It was good. Thing is, with Mirage itself, because they're saying they're going back to its roots. Its roots was Prince of Persia, so they're going to focus more on parkour and stealth and all that stuff, which was fun in the initial Assassin's Creed. The thing is, even if they're setting it in one world, I'm cool with it. Just make the story massive. Make that story something I can invest in. Take me back to Assassin's Creed 2 and 3 and Brotherhood, where I am literally invested in my own character. It's not just someone I'm playing with. That's my take for Mirage. I'm not expecting anything huge. I have a rule: no expectations, just be surprised. So I'm gonna let the game show me, instead of me expecting for something to be different and huge. I'm just gonna play the game and see. Other than that,
Okay.
I'm afraid for all these titles coming out all at once, it's giving me was it there's the series I think it is Unity and something that came out the same year.
Rogue.
Unity and
Unity
There
and
Rogue.
was
Rogue.
Unity and what?
Yeah.
Rogue, exactly.
Rogue. Yeah.
It's giving me that unfinished. It could be two stories or one story, But this is like we have Mirage, we have Red and something else, right? So there's like
Yep.
three
Jade.
things coming out at the same
There's
time.
Jade.
Same.
There's Jade, there's Red, and there is Hex. Something.
Hex.
Which is
Yeah.
actually a good way to segue into what we're talking next. So we have Assassin's Creed Red, which is Japan. Actually, it's Assassin's Creed codename Red, which is Japan.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
if you watch
Feudal
Kunara's stream,
Japan.
which if you watch Kunara's stream, she's a huge fan of Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm just gonna jump in immediately to her. What do you expect, or rather, what do you feel about Assassin's Creed Red? Because yeah. And first of all, quick shameless plug. Follow Kunara on Twitch, please. She's awesome.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Anyway, first of all, it had better not be a mobile game because that will really upset me. And this is from somebody. I'm not slamming mobile gamers. But I had a very terrible experience with the Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
On mobile?
Yeah, it wasn't even on mobile. It was on PS, but it was a 2.5D, essentially mobile game. And trust me, it hurt my soul because these are assassins who've been talked about. Abbas Mir, they've talked about Shao Jun, and then they've talked about Nikolai Orelov. Only for them to be relegated to a 2.5D game. I mean, that hurt my soul. It hurt me to the core.
Yeah.
Especially since they talked about Shao Jun in Assassin's Creed 3 through the rope. She's the one who created the rope darts. And also in the ending of Assassin's Creed Revelations. The trilogy has a movie dedicated to how Shao Jun and her master went to Italy to get Ezio's help to fight against the Templars. And with that aside, Ubisoft has its work cut out for them because Ghost of Tsushima did their job. So they're gonna have to find a way to be very compelling about how they tell these stories, this particular story. And I hope it's not during the Mongol invasions of Japan because been there, done that. Maybe during. Okay, let me do my research on the time periods of Japan. Like maybe I don't know. Just do something.
Yeah, so there are different feudal periods in Japan, so it really depends.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is what I really want to see from this, and which is why I enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima. When they talked about Assassin's Creed codename Red, they said they're going to focus on the shinobi side of things. Whereas in Tsushima, it's the contrast of are you a shinobi or are you a samurai? Obviously, the shinobi being the more disgraceful path. Now, with that being brought into the front light, they're now in Assassin's Creed codename Red. They're like, there's no shinobi. You are basically Naruto without the powers, which. So yeah, so that's the whole thing I really want to see. And the thing is, the groundwork is set. Like Krishna said, the groundwork is set. The layout is set. The foundation is there for them to make a really good Assassin's Creed Red, especially Japan. Which, first of all, the name better change. The name better change. Yeah, that Red.
I think that's just a working title, but yeah, it'll definitely
Why?
change. Yeah.
Really? First of all, while you're saying why, while you're saying why, Clara, what do you think about Assassin's Creed Red and everything else? Like, we can actually just speak about it all because the main one was like Assassin's Creed Red, and then we have had Assassin's Creed Hex. We had this one about
Jade, which
Queen Arrow,
Jade, yeah.
Jade is
mobile.
also mobile. So yeah.
You know she's excited for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's definitely excited for that, as clearly seen by her facial expressions.
Yep.
But anyway, so and then this one, which also was weird. I won't say weird, but it was interesting. Was it Infinite? Is it Assassin's Creed Infinite, where it's now multiplayer? They're focusing on the multiplayer aspect of it.
Infinity.
Infinity, yeah, it's Infinity.
Infinity, not Infinity, not Infinity. So, Clara, just briefly touch on all those. What are your thoughts? What are your expectations?
Okay, let's start off with Red. I like anything Japanese. So if they're gonna set it in Japan, cool. I'm fine. I've seen Italy, I've seen Spain, I've seen Greece, I've seen Egypt. They might as well set it in one Asian country. That's cool. I have I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be on mobile also, because I'm just saying there's a lot of games to be coming all out at the same time. I don't mind it.
True.
It's Japanese. Jade is, I think Jade is set in Asian China, right? Given the name Jade, I'm pretty sure it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be focusing on Jade itself, but they're talking about Poco on top of the Great Wall of China, which I hope it's just, is it going to be cinematic or is it going to be a challenge? That would be interesting to see.
Quick time event.
When it comes to I'm thinking Sabutaka in my head, which is sad. So that's where my head is taking. For Codename Hex, it says what? It's a very different type. They put a very different type of Assassin's Creed game that appears to be released from the tip. Yeah, right. It's based on what? Witchcraft and Salem witch trials. Cool. You're bringing witches into the wild. I'm cool with it. Are they going to add werewolves and vampires too? I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that is going to be. Am I what?
Let me just confirm. Are you saying we get an Assassin's Creed horror game with Hex?
No. Codename Hex talks about witches and the Salem witch trial. So I'm thinking they're going to bring witches. And what lore is surrounded by witches? You have fairies, werewolves, vampires, demons, angels. You get what I mean? I don't know what they're going to use. If you're an assassin, are you going to be human? Are you going to be vampire? I don't know. If you're going to be Van Helsing, I do not know. For the three, the Hex, Jade, and Red, to be honest, I'm game for anything. They're going to focus on China. Let's pander to the Chinese market. It's huge. People want to play something in Chinese. Assassin's Creed has never been there. Japan, they're trying to get people who are into Genshin Impact and all that stuff. Cool. Hex, you're trying to bring up the Americans because Americans love witches, they love vampires, they want werewolves. That's just my thought. Now with Infinity, because it's going to be mobile, I am hoping for Battle Royale, multiplayer, and squad, because they talked about squads, right?
No. I'm just gonna say there. I'm just gonna cut you short there and say no Assassin's Creed Battle Royale. That one.
Either way,
no.
All in all, for Assassin's Creed. You know me, mobile gaming.
Na bado Fortnite hawajaingia na hiyo story.
Oh my lord.
Let's go.
Miles there as a Fortnite character, I'm cool with it also. Thing is, for me with Assassin's Creed, my entire investment for expectations and high impressions ended with Brotherhood. So I'm game for whatever. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm game for whatever. But it would be cool to see if the Chinese one is going to bring in Mongols and all that stuff. We're going to focus on, what's his name? The father of everyone, Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, is he going to be a big boss or is he going to be an assassin? Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows?
Brian,
that's it for me on my end.
First of all, I just mentioned Fortnite and I had the image of Epic Games announcing Ezio as a new character, and then we didn't have all these 9-year-olds running around with Ezio.
Is that Ezio from Fortnite?
Is that Ezio from Fortnite? No, wait. Is that Bayek from Fortnite?
Oh my god. Kids today. But regarding now Hex, I'd say I think Assassin's Creed has largely, especially with the most recent trilogy, that's Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. They've tried to be as historically accurate, and I use that word loosely, historically accurate as possible. So I do feel like with Salem witch trials, and I don't know if you guys have seen this movie called Witch, with it's actually two V's,
The V's.
Witch.
Yeah. I know.
The way
I know.
there was all
Quote.
this sense of suspicion and and distrust, especially like how the situation was with the, what are they called, those guys, the what they call, the prospect, I've forgotten the name, but you know what I'm talking about, those guys.
Yes.
Settlers.
Yeah, those
The first
settlers. Yeah, the way they're so
No,
superstitious.
prospectors were gold. I'm
Or
sorry.
gold, yeah. So I'd be interested in seeing that, how they would do a historic exploration of that through the lens of now the Brotherhood and all of that. So yeah, that I would say Hex is the one I'm most curious to see, because it's completely different.
And
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I
ahead.
think it would actually suit them having a female main character, because it was women who are being persecuted on the grounds of being a witch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it would only be
Yes.
fitting if a woman was, she joined the Brotherhood as a way to take down the Templars, who I'd say are the
Yeah,
people
Templars,
banning the witches, maybe because they are for one reason or the other. So I think it would only be fitting, and don't bring that choose your character bullshit, choose your gender bullshit. I don't think it would work.
They're going to give you that option, because if they've always had male characters as main characters, to be honest, they will give you the option to choose your gender. I kid you not.
I feel I also kind of
it's
feel
not
like
that.
they should commit. If we'd rather have one consistent character to fit permanently within the law, rather than having this whole back and forth, like, oh, maybe we'll have a male one or a female one, or I decide which it is, or the animus decides which it is. I'd like them to just commit to one to fit within the Brotherhood. The same way, like Ezio is a mainstay, we'd rather have also an assassin,
if it's
female assassin.
Kimiko, let it be Kimiko. Yeah, just be
Exactly.
Kimiko. Yeah.
We've talked about this whole character switching with Quinaro, especially when it came to Bayek. The fact that Bayek was not supposed to be the main character, but apparently, like she said, Ubisoft believes, you put into brackets, believed into bracket believes women don't sell, and so they fundamentally changed the story to feature Bayek as the main character and not Aya. So the weird thing which I really didn't like, especially with the new Assassin's Creed from Odyssey and Valhalla, is choose your character. Then I'm like, okay, but then when it comes to an important plot point that is going to affect the future of Assassin's Creed, who is the person? Is it a he? Is it a she? Who is it? Who is it? Honestly speaking, for me, for Hex, the really one thing I want to see if they're gonna pull off, you're gonna laugh, mucheke too, but I've mentioned it, is if they put like Assassin's Creed with a bit of, I won't say horror, but
Assassin's Creed
thriller
I don't
theme,
think I'll
like a
movie like Assassin's Creed if the first one didn't work well. If you want me to help you make your next Assassin's Creed movie big, I don't mind that, but you better bring me the money. Right?
Jotham is pretending to be on the phone.
That's
oh my
all.
god.
I know,
Just ignoring
I
the
know,
chat. He's
I know.
just
Just
in the head.
so you're aware. Just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. This is what we go through as movie jabber. Jotham
On a
trying
daily
to
basis.
on a daily basis. This is what we go through. This is why we look so drained sometimes. But we love Jotham. Never mind. So anyway, yeah. But Chris, what are your thoughts? Me, first of all, like I've said, I really want to see if they can. I wouldn't say switch up the genre too much, but make it different. Yes, you're an assassin, you have the hidden blades and everything else, but there's also that sense of being hunted. Because for all Assassin's Creed games, most of them, you are this big, massive power who takes everybody down. Like 50 men, nothing. 50 is nothing. But in Hex, what if they say, yeah, you're limited. You've got nothing. You actually have to survive. But then they still maintain the Hex, the Assassin's Creed template on it. What are your thoughts, Chris?
You know what?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay,
No
go
worries.
ahead. It's okay.
It's okay. Go ahead. You're saying something?
Okay, they did try and implement that with Assassin's Creed Revelations, where okay, as you're building stuff in what the setting was, the Constantinople. That's okay. They had these annoying parts where random folks would run up to you and try to kill you. And okay, it was kind of a jump scare, but I think you'd be able to tell when the music starts changing tempo. Then somebody just jumps on you and they're holding a dagger on your throat, so you just have to, it was easy to kill them. So I felt that they didn't really implement that feature well, but I actually agree that idea of being hunted, especially maybe if the main character was someone accused of being a witch, and they have to hide, and then they turn to the Brotherhood, and then they decide to become an assassin, but you're still being hunted, like by Templars and proxies.
Yeah, because to me, the weird thing is that you're walking in the street with your full hood, everything, and swords and everything else, and the random person in the street just look at you like, oh, look, he's climbing up a building.
Some
Oh, look,
dude.
he jumped off the roof. Oh, look, he's still alive. Like, there's no feeling of being an assassin. I'm going to contrast this to the Splinter Cell games, where if you're seen, you're seen. Like, like you actually have to hide. And the essence of being an assassin is actually hiding. Before Clara speaks, I cut off Chris a lot. Chris speak on his thoughts, and then we can go to Clara.
Okay, I was actually going to say something similar, especially for like Assassin's Creed Red, the Japan one, because the essence of a shinobi was never seen, never heard. They blended in with society. They used what tools were available to them. So what about if it was a game in the style of like Splinter Cell or Hitman or Dishonored, that kind of game where stealth is a huge aspect and you have to strategize? Because I remember in Black Flag or in any of the Assassin's Creed, really, stand in bush, attack person, they die. Stand in bush, attack person, they die. That's the gameplay arc.
Exactly.
That's the whole gameplay arc. But what if they spiced it up and made stealth like actually something you had to think about? Could be interesting. Yeah.
Before we go to Clara, Nerdside says we need more Splinter Cell, which is true. We actually do need more Splinter Cell. It is a thing.
I miss Tom Clancy.
Sorry, what?
I miss Tom Clancy. Like, I don't know why. Okay, let me just segue into my thing. What I wanted to say. Assassin's Creed it's cool when you're playing an assassin, but the idea of an assassin is to stay hidden. You're not supposed to be seen. You're supposed to blend in, right?
Yeah.
If they did, I don't know. It's how many games now? Since 2009 to now? Like, okay, just that's a lot of games, but they've never implemented real world mechanics like hiding, plain sight hiding, like walking around with a cloak. Instead of walking around with your suit armor with the hoodie, you have your knives everywhere, and you're supposed to go stealthily to assassinate someone who's in a big crowd. Like a little bit of real world.
So like Hitman.
Would be good. Hitman, yeah. Exactly. No, even if they use like a very fast because it's about hiding, it's about stealth. I can do parkour, I can do all those jumps or fates and all that stuff, but just the real world idea that an assassin should not be seen or heard. You're supposed to only be felt as an effect. That's it. That's your job as an assassin. If they could do that to this new game, even if it's not like well inputted, but at least tried, I would literally play this game just to see how far or how good I would get with that, and make sure stealth is a form of achievement, just like Hitman and Splinter Cell and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Okay, to chip into what Clara said, I think they're trying to go for the historical basis. When the assassins were actually real during the Crusades, and They tended to be a bit elaborate with how they did the assassinations to strike fear. So in historically, they'd actually leave blades with blood beside their targets. I'd say pillow. So as in to leave it as a warning. So they were kind of elaborate in that sense during historical times. And as for the whole stealth as an achievement thing, they did that with the Assassin's Creed Chronicles with Shao Jun, with Abazmir, and what's his name, Nikolai Orelov. As in the game actually forced you to play stealthily because they'd actually give you a sliver of health, and if you're caught, if you're careless and then you're caught, you can't actually fight back properly. 2 hits, you're dead. So
that's cool.
That's
actually
very
challenging. That's actually pretty good.
No, but the point is
it makes you maximize on stealth play.
But the problem is with Assassin's Creed, with the previous iterations of the game, they've given you that freedom, play how you want. Then all of a sudden you're switching you're all of a sudden switching it up to, if you get caught, you're dead. I don't know. I don't feel that's a good way to execute it. I think there still needs to be that freedom with how if you wanna go, guns blazing, well and good. If you wanna go stealthy, that's fine. That's just my 2 cents on the thing anyway.
Felix Obudo says Hitman Assassin's Creed had a baby. Isn't that Ghost of Tsushima?
Basically, yeah. Kinda.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
No comment.
So the idea for this whole thing is that I think the general consensus we're getting is that we want them to double down on the assassins part of it. Assassins aspect of it, because in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they double down on the Valhalla aspect of it, where yes, go fight. How many people? Just random people go fight. Am I supposed to be sneaky? No, fight.
I never hid. Let me just be honest. I like when I said you play the way you want. I was the guy guns blazing or axe swinging.
But
honestly, they should not bring back optional objectives, because the way they designed it was essentially, a must you play it the way they want. Especially I think what drove me nuts is that if you failed an optional objective, they highlight it in red. I actually destroyed one controller because of that thing. Pissed me off. I smashed my controller against the wall. RIP my PS3 controller.
As you can see, we are well-adjusted people on this.
Well-adjusted adults
here. Very well-adjusted and have proper anger.
Well-adjusted, calm people.
Don't mind the broken controllers. No. It's just a casualty of war. It happens.
He says as he sweeps the remains of his PS4 controller under the chair.
But I
tell me, Wesley, what games do you play again?
Now listen here, Chris. Listen here.
Something should not.
Don't bring my League of Legends stats into this. We have peace. We are at peace. Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
But anyway, I'd like to quickly segue into something I wouldn't say less controversial and more beloved, but it is kind of less controversial, more beloved. We've seen the trailers, we've seen the teasers, we've seen like a lot of content coming from it. And if you've seen the gameplay reviews that we have, the sneak peeks of gameplay that I've posted on our socials, either on Arcade Hero or Movie Jabber, we know what we're going to talk about: God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah,
damn right.
Queen Arrow doesn't like God of War. I don't know what's happening.
Before someone
you guys mentioned God of War, I mean.
Before someone comes for me, to be very fair, I haven't finished the the new game that came out. Is it 2016? So I think that's
2018.
Yeah, that's where my distaste comes from. I'm not as huge a fan of it as I am Assassin's Creed, so I wouldn't have
Uh,
much to chip in on this topic.
okay, but guys, if you'll notice this is a historical moment much on this
Jotham
stream.
God of War.
Jotham spoke regarding God of War. Imagine that, guys.
Yeah.
Have we
Everybody
finally
has the
cracked a
word
game
God
Jotham
in
would
there. I'm
play?
pretty sure he has no idea what
Jotham,
the
no.
game
First, this is gonna be interesting. I want to hear Jotham's thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. What do you think? What
Dad of boy. Oh, we lost him.
Ah,
He bounced.
Wesley. Not
God
like
has
this.
struck lightning. Queen Arrow.
Okay, Jotham.
You see,
Jotham,
you see
what
what
did you do?
happens. You see what happens when you try to in any
wow.
way
Oh wow.
say something
Oh, wow.
wrong about the game of the year every year.
True.
Even if
True.
the last installment released like 50 years ago, game of the year
Mhm.
every year.
Mhm.
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 Agreed.
Look what
Agreed.
look what happened to this boy. Ah.
Yeah.
Look who's back.
Oh, he back.
Jotham, what did you do?
Jonathan, why are you hiding? You said it.
Jotham, what did you do?
Why are you hiding?
I was
Guys,
trying to talk trash and run.
Jotham used his black magic on me and poof, I disappeared and came back.
Black magic.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, so sorry guys for that.
Oh, guys, just some
So
just some comments here.
mhm.
Nerd side is like we need more Splinter Cell.
Agreed.
First of all, who's this one? Bulwa Louise. I just came here to assert my dominance. Then he went
Her
quiet.
dominance has not
His
been
dominance
felt.
is being
It has
asserted
not been
elsewhere,
felt.
I believe.
It's being asserted
He has
elsewhere, is it?
failed in his mission.
Fail. Yeah. Nerd side says we need more Splinter Cell. Him and Assassin's Creed had a baby. Sorry, I missed the context of that. That's by Felix.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that,
Missed
don't
the
worry.
concept.
We talked about all of this. We said it's basically Ghost of Tsushima. It's a gamer
Alright.
reference. You need
Yeah.
to get
Ah.
it.
That's a
Okay.
pretty
Why,
sweet
why,
looking
why,
game,
why
by the way.
ignoring this one? This is the best comment. Why ignoring this one?
This one.
Why, Gotham? Why?
Wow. I think what Eric, and I'm not ignoring it, I think Eric was responding to Wes. I think it was like Jotham, and then going like, Wes, God of War. So it's like basically he's like talking to me, and telling me that Wes is like God of War.
Someone's drinking.
But anyway, so first of all, speaking
It's
of
a
it,
literature
Jotham,
thing, guys. Listen to audiobooks.
Jotham, I wanted to get your thoughts on something real quick before we get into something. The Sony has said that they will be, I don't know if it's fully confirmed, but they might be making a God of War. Was it a series or a movie? One of the two.
Movie.
It was a God of War movie.
I'd watch that.
Yeah,
It's a God of War movie, yeah.
Oh, no.
I wanna-
make it a series, please.
Well, first of all, I want to get Jotham because Jotham is a good media person to get. What would you expect from a God of War movie? Let's focus on what would you expect from a God of War movie, Jotham, as a person who's.
Don't say Jason Momoa.
Oh,
No, I wasn't
yeah.
gonna say Jason Momoa. No, he's acting top. I like
Jason
the guy,
Statham.
but Jason Statham. That's a good pick, actually, with a British accent. Yeah. I would have picked The Rock, yeah, just straight up in terms of like easy, low hanging fruit. But The Rock just needs to go back to acting the way he used to act, like in Ballers, his show, and then previously before. He's a good actor, but now he's just he's okay and comfortable with the kind of stuff he does. He has the frame for it, and I know he can really portray the character, easy build. But that aside, to be honest, with the state of adaptations nowadays, I would be very hesitant for them to touch God of War. I'll just be like, don't touch it, just leave it. Yeah, just leave it. So I really, that's my expectation will be for them to leave it, because I don't think they'll be able to do a faithful adaptation. Given I think we now talked about the lore as well, since Hollywood likes to do the things whereby, look, this is working, it's working great. But I think we're smarter, so let's take the butt and put it where the head is, and then they get surprised when things don't work out. So my expectation is they shouldn't do anything. That's honestly my expectation.
Yeah.
Quick. Just something very small. We had talked about briefly Assassin's Creed and Netflix. Netflix are doing. Is it a TV show or?
Yeah.
A TV show.
Yeah. How much do we trust Netflix with these IPs? Seeing what they've done with anime.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
Why are you saying
-1.
how much? Just say, do we trust them?
No, that's the thing,
No.
because we mentioned it and then we just glossed over it. That's why I'm taking us
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
I
think it depends. Oh,
No,
Clara,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Clara, go ahead.
It depends on who's the director, the one on the helm. Because if Netflix has the money to sink its teeth into Assassin's Creed is not like Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was a thought. They were just bringing a small game to life. Assassin's Creed has years of lore. It has a lot of stories. If you're going to go into a TV show, let's pick Game of Thrones, forget season 8, and now focus on building Assassin's Creed as a proper TV show. Joshua
Sorry.
did not bait me.
Sorry. No, I'm just a bit confused.
Game of
I couldn't-
Thrones.
I don't think they released an 8.
I'm not
I
gonna
don't
go
know
there.
Is there
Joshua.
an
I know
eight?
you're baiting me. All I'm
No,
I
saying
never
is
had of it.
Never heard of it, but anyway.
yeah.
Uh,
So exactly. It only depends on whoever is at the helm of directing this show. And if he has the guts and the audacity to stand his ground, because again, remember, executives fuck up movies. They do destroy good stories. So if they do have someone who's dedicated to the story, to the law itself, wants to tell the story properly, doesn't matter what order he goes with, as long as wherever he starts, there's an order to it. I would,
Yeah, I think-
I would put my investment in that. But other than that, if it's just a regular TV runner somewhere, maybe Dick Wolf or something like that, I have no investment. I have
Oh, no.
Dick Wolf, Law and Order. I'm not calling someone out of
It's funny
nowhere.
because there's someone who's actually called. Yes, that's.
It's funny
Yeah.
because it's true. It's funny because
Yeah,
it's
it's
true.
still another guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Of Law and Order. So if you have him or Jerry Bruckheimer trying to give me a CW version of their Assassin's Creed, now there I just bow my head.
why did you give me that thought, man?
Now you see,
Yeah.
Clara
No,
has tainted all our brains, and we now have to go and wash our brains because we have CW God of War, where Thor tells
Imagine
The
that.
world of
And
assassination.
Thor
America
is like,
They are
is like,
assassins, and the
Thor
Templars who
tells
oppose them.
Kratos, we
These are
need to
their
be
stories.
friends. Yeah.
Changing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
mentions Warcraft, and that's exactly what I mean. Warcraft had an amazing story to be told, but they just went the quick Hollywood, grab the money, let me show you I'm making a movie about a game that has been alive longer than the director himself. So yes.
Quinara, you had some thoughts on that?
I think to cement Clara's point, the way Bandai Namco and Netflix collaborated on Tekken Bloodline, like you see the people who are at the helm,
Yep.
and hell, even the fight scenes were supervised by two professional Tekken players from Japan, Nobi-san and Yu-san. So the way they executed it, it was so faithful to the games. And, it was still a retelling of Tekken 3, but it still took what Tekken 3 had put out years ago and with the new character, Leroy Smith. So you see, that's even a way for
Okay.
that's even a way for them to sort out I'd say the execution of the overarching storyline of Tekken. So if they're to do the same thing with Assassin's Creed, just have some of the guys over at Ubisoft help with the execution of the story on Netflix. It can be it can just be exquisite.
Okay. First of all, I have to say this Leroy Jenkins because you said Leroy. It is it's culture.
Yeah.
It's culture. So first of all, speaking of which, guys, speaking of
Warcraft was
adaptations,
heartbreaking. Let me just put it that way. I was very heartbroken.
yeah.
Devastated.
Oh, Kennedy Momanyi says Leroy still gives me nightmares. Speaking of which, there's a Dragon Dogma Netflix series. I'd like
Is
like
it
if you haven't-
Dota?
No, there's not.
Oh,
For real.
Wait, sorry, Dota, not Dragon's
Yeah,
Dogma. There's a
Dota is supposed to have its
Yeah, it's
own
gonna be
TV
like
show
what?
running on
Since
yeah,
it.
when?
Dota Dragon's Blood. Sorry. Dota Dragon's Blood. My bad. There's a Dota Dragon's Blood Netflix series
Dota is
with
still alive,
Troy
man.
Baker and Tony Todd and Freya Tingley. But the one I'm interested in is Troy Baker. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my watch list, but it probably might be there with adaptations. The thing I'm seeing about adaptations, which is an interesting trend, is the moment you adapt a game into an animation, not a movie, it has higher chances of succeeding. If you've seen that,
For
if you
sure.
look at Mortal Kombat and the adaptations, the movie was the movie.
The movies come with a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Come with
But
a lot
if
of
you,
pressure, a lot of budgets, and a lot of data. Like you try to take the game and make it market friendly or open to a broader audience. You get
Yeah.
so the game ends up losing its feel.
Yeah, so I think the idea for this that we're gonna go with, especially for God of War, the one thing I personally hope is they make it animation style that gives them the leeway to go all the way with the over the top God of War action scenes. Cause I want to see Kratos juggle some Droga in the air. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I want to see some Blades of Chaos action. Now, with it being a live adaptation, I'm gonna say this. It's been mentioned in the comment section. Don't hang me, but it's kind of feeling like Halo.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
He went there,
Nah.
Chad. He went there.
We do not talk about Halo. Never ever.
What's
That
wrong
was
with
never
Halo?
seen.
Halo is dope.
Has never passed.
Oh,
My eyes have never
wait,
seen
the
that
TV
show.
show. Oh man, that was
Yes.
bad.
Yes.
Oh, the TV show was
the
bad.
TV show, yeah.
That was so sad.
Yeah,
I'm
so
hexing
that's
you because of that,
that's
Wes. I'm hexing you.
Nah.
No,
Don't worry, Wes. You're not hacked.
But I think the problem is like with Mortal Kombat, especially since Warner Brothers essentially owns HBO Max. I'm not sure with the new merger Discovery, but that aside, I think the Mortal Kombat movie, as I said, it's years of lore they're trying to fit into a 2-hour movie. Why not consider the audience who's not, who doesn't play video games? It could have been a good stepping stone to tell the story. Maybe episode 1, Liu Kang, episode 2, Kano, episode 3, Sonya, episode 4, Kitana, episode 5, Rain. And then even as you're telling those stories, it's not building up now to the movie. Then it's good marketing because you tell guys, go subscribe to have a HBO Max subscription, watch the series. Then the movie is gonna come out at this time. It's gonna build hype, in my opinion, and you've at least explained the overarching law of Mortal Kombat, rather than trying to stuff everything into a 2-hour movie, and it's not faithful to the source material.
Speaking now, this allows me to segue into something really interesting. We've talked about God of War and we've talked about Netflix series, but I want us to touch on something interesting here. First of all, when it comes to God of War and the platform it's going to be hosted on, PS. And before we get into the massive PS state of play and everything else, the PS5 price has gone up.
In
As-
other markets except the US.
In other markets except the US. Thank you. We need to know that one. In other markets except the US.
Do you know why?
Inflation.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
We're gonna say
Inflation.
inflation, but Jotham, what
Wow,
do you
really?
think it is?
Oh,
I
we're
did
not
my
going
question.
to
Wait, let
inflation
me.
too?
Sorry, Jotham, you're saying, do you know why? You might have some insight. Jotham works for Sony, guys, by the way, if you never knew.
All right, so
Our
between you and me,
our Sony liaison is here.
between you guys and me, like the three of us, I mean, 5 of you and me,
5. Oh yeah, sure thing.
I have no idea.
See, this is why we go through stress. This is exactly why
This is why we go through therapy.
I like how Chris didn't even blink. Chris was just like, yeah, let's Get it over with.
Yeah, but honestly speaking, first of all, I want to get the thoughts on an avid console player from Brian and Queen Arrow, because they play majorly
Friday.
slash exclusively on console. What do you guys think
Wes, you
about
know
this?
I have a PC, right? I'm both.
And I know you. I said majorly and
I also
exclusively.
happen to have a PC, so okay,
I
so you can
said
have
I
majorly.
mean,
that.
that's
Yeah.
Please.
violence.
Yes,
Violence.
violence
All right.
challenge.
So
Are
first
you
of
are
all,
you
I'm mostly
questioning the
like a
masquerade?
PC gamer.
No, I'm not advocating for any platform. I'm
we are
just
not on.
saying I have both. Yes.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So first of all, what are your guys' thoughts on this price hike, and just generally the state of play?
Quinara, you can take it, and then I'll follow.
I don't really have any thoughts about the price hike, because I'm not really, I'd say, subject. I don't really understand how Sony goes about making their decisions. As long as they're not trying, it's not a decision out of greed, but it was genuinely an
Mm.
issue on inflation. That's well and
Mm.
good.
Mm.
Though it does make me wonder if that's the case, why wasn't the United States like
Affected.
not
Mm.
Being
not
affected.
affect? Yeah, so maybe a little bit of transparency and not corporate bullshit PR statements. Actually, take us through like this is how we arrived at the decision to hike the price in other markets except for the United States. And as for the state of play, okay, I don't really know what to expect from them because with triple A gaming, sorry, nowadays it's been sad to see because a lot of them it has become about the bottom line. So I guess maybe I'm holding out hope. Maybe they might. The only thing maybe I'd be excited for is if they were to announce an Ape Escape remake, especially as Ape Escape
Mm.
3. That game was goated. Trust me, that's my childhood. And if they're to remake it for modern day consoles, dude, I am here for it. I am here for it. Manifesting to the universe.
Manifesting. Brian,
Three
your thoughts?
words:
Uh-huh.
Resident Evil 4. That's what I want.
That's what you want.
They teased us. They teased us with the remake, with the trailer. It looks good. It's on the new RE engine. I want to see more. I loved Resident Evil 2, like the remake, of course. 3, it was good, but
What was that?
it wasn't all that. Of course, I loved Village. I never played 7 though, but I enjoyed Village. So Resident Evil 4 being the first one that I actually played back in the day, I'd like to see it in the new RE engine. And I'd like to see Leon and that crazy haircut of his, the 90s kind of, that hairstyle. That one. Yes, I want to see it in all the glory of the RE engine. Aside from that, of course, God of War Ragnarok and maybe Final Fantasy. But yeah, with regards to the price hike, yeah, Final Fantasy. With regards to the price hike, my personal suspicion, it might have something to do with, is it the chips? Maybe, because I know like there's something happening between China and
The United States.
the United States, and is it Taiwan?
Yep, Taiwan Sana.
Yeah, Taiwan Sana, and I know Taiwan
So-
they produce a lot of those chips. I think I'll have to confirm, but it might have something to do with that, and also and also what's happening, of course, in Ukraine and Russia. But again, like Quinaro said, it could also be just an excuse. They could also be seeing this and going like, okay, this is an opportunity. We need to make a profit.
Yeah, just to quickly mention on something you said. See, the thing is, which is very interesting is number one, the PS5s are in low scarcity, high demand, as it is. As it is, low scarcity, high demand.
Already.
Increasing the price, and which is why when Kunaro said, I hope it's not like a predatory marketing scheme. Increasing the price of something that's in low scarcity and high demand Well, yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at
It's
that.
predatory.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. There's low scarcity, high demand, and they've increased the price. I'm not
Oh,
joining dots. Yes,
I've just
Brian?
noticed Nadside's
Join them.
comment on
I've already joined them for you.
Behaviors.
anti-competitive
Yeah,
behavior.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is.
You guys heard about what PlayStation was doing regarding like them competing with Game Pass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
because right now, wait, who's right now? I think right now there's this whole story of is it between Sony and Microsoft where they're like Call of Duty is a big franchise, Call of Duty is not a big franchise,
Yes,
Call of Duty
yes,
is a
yes,
big franchise,
yes.
Call of Duty is not a big franchise.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
back and forth trying to prove that Call of Duty is not a big franchise and making it exclusive would be benefit. Like it's whole it's you know that thing where you say I'm not a big person. No, I'm not a big person. It's that thing. It's really
Mm.
weird. Yes, Clara, you've lifted up your hand. Yes, Clara in the back. Yeah, please. Yeah,
Just to join the dots, I was just about to mention how the demand and supply effect in business. If you have high demand for something and your supply is limited, you are if you hike that price, you're being predatory to your customers because you do realize once it's out, you're guaranteed your little stock will end because you not everyone is going to get it, but your stock will end because it's on high demand. I guess it's also
yeah.
because the PS5 the what it's the new real engine, right? It's like they call it new generation, new gen
Next
consoles.
gen.
Next gen.
Thank you. Next gen consoles. It's the first console that has gone next gen before everything else, and that's what they're before because the minute Xbox gets to do it, that's it for them. Because Microsoft, I wouldn't lie. For me, Xbox is a better console because it's quite compatible with everything. I'm saying it. You can come at me anytime. You can come at me anytime. The other
To
thing
each
is
their own,
the
though.
conversation.
But
Yeah.
to each their own. To each their own. To each
That's
their own.
true. That's true.
But
The
let's give
conversation
credit to where
about
credit is.
Xbox versus PlayStation, the Call of Duty, they've just added Call of Duty on Game Pass now. It wasn't that before, and I think it's that conversation because God of War is just about to come, and
God of
you know,
War.
if you don't have, yeah, God of War, you know what I mean. So it's true. The Activision, the competition between which one is the biggest franchise doesn't matter because I play God of War and I play Call of Duty. I don't know what they're competing over. The games are not even in the same realm, so I don't even understand what they're competing over.
It's
One is an RPG, the other one is an FPS. So I don't know why it's a huge
it's not
conversation.
necessarily a competition. It's not necessarily a competition. It's more of like trying to say that we're not trying to monopolize the market. Each of them is trying to say that we're not trying to monopolize the market. First of all, let's
But
give
you're
credit where
already
credit is due.
not monopolizing the market you are. If you're trying to, if you're already having that conversation, you already are.
Yeah, so let's give credit where credit is due, first of all. Regardless of what we say about PlayStation and whatever they're planning with their PS5s, their games, especially these new age games that will come from Sony, though, from Spider Man all the way to God of War, uh, they've been pretty good. And pretty good is an understatement. So
They've been
And
amazing.
and I
they've
have
been
to say,
amazing. Yeah.
let me just say, them adding the new tiers to PlayStation Plus, because
Yeah.
all I ever wanted was that a response to Microsoft's Game Pass. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, we need a response to Microsoft's Game Pass, and then they came in
Yeah.
with the two additional tiers, extra and premium. I'm on extra. I'm loving it. I haven't tried out premium, but yeah, competition is a good thing. So yeah,
This
that
is where I'm gonna say this. This is where I'm gonna say this. Regardless of what they're doing, what I like that right now they're doing is you see before it was like PS PlayStation would do exclusive things and everything else. Sony would do exclusive things. Right now it's more of like they're looking at the market and they're like we can do more than just PlayStation. And this is me speaking as a PC player, and they're
oh
like
yeah, because now they're on
God
PC.
of War, here's some God of War, here's some Horizon Zero Dawn, here's some Spider Man, and I'm like, yes. As much as it makes people say, oh, it makes me not want to buy a PlayStation because you assume that it's gonna come out in PlayStation. It's beneficial for both the fan base as well as the company because now you're expanding. And first of all, the PC ports are good. The PC ports are good. They're not buggy
Quite
or
good.
whatever.
Quite good.
Yeah, they're quite good. The PC ports of those games are quite good. As as I've seen with Horizon Zero Dawn, and I've seen with God of War. God of War. I think it's just called God of War, the
God
2018
of War,
one.
yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So yeah, now this is where I can bring in Chris, because he's mainly on PC. What do you think about Sony's move to bring in these quote unquote previously exclusive, well, not quote unquote, the previously exclusive games into PC?
I think it's smart of them, especially because they don't release exclusives like day one, right? Like what God of War is coming 2-3 years after it released.
Yep.
And so I'll play that on PC and I'll be like, this is an amazing game. When is Ragnarok coming out? It's coming out this year. Do I want to wait 2 or 3 years to play Ragnarok? No. What do? I buy a PS. It's actually really brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's smart. So
Yeah.
it's at the same time. I don't know. For me, I wouldn't say Sony is doing the whole dark evil thing. At the same time, it's
It's
more of
not
like a,
necessarily evil. Yeah.
yeah, it's a delicate balance. See, they're basically delicately
Because I
balancing
mean,
us
their
with this.
business, they need to sell their consoles. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
But they
So
need to
you
give us
see,
day one
you know,
exclusives now.
is the price
Game
worth
Pass,
it?
Game Pass is killing us. Sorry?
No,
No,
like okay, so I get the argument, and it's like the games are good, better than good, right? They've added like tiers for Play Pass. I get that. So my question is, do you think the price hike is in terms of because we're giving you better gameplay, better experience? It'll make it maybe
Probably
it's to
not.
cover the fact that the cost of building more consoles, or do you think
Probably.
it's a predatory thing? I mean, if they did explain it to us and tell us that COVID did a number to us, we need to recover and to create more consoles. We need more money. So the reason why we're doing a hike, the hike is for this thing. It has a time period. Once we have our supply, stabilize and everything, we'll go back to, give us because your market is ready for at least an honest conversation. They should have it. Explain to us why the price hike is there, because now you're giving me more. Because I don't have it now. I didn't have it then. I can wait until the price stabilizes. What if everyone does that and no one buys?
Yeah.
That's
Speaking
my
of
thought.
which, during Gamescom, we did a feature on Gamescom. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's on our YouTube page. There was a controller. There was a high tech controller. I don't know what the name was. I forget the name.
The PS DualSense
Yes,
Edge, was it? There was
DualSense
something.
Edge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a controller I would like to get my hands on and see what is there any major difference between the current PS5 controller and the DualSense Edge controller? Does it like actually
Which is
shock you
actually pretty good.
when you have
Yeah,
short
it's like
circuits? Sorry?
it's like the Elite versus it's like the Elite versus the normal Xbox controller. That's like extra buttons and stuff.
That's
Extra
interesting.
buttons. Is it extra sensitive? Does the vibration harder and longer than the other one? My use of words was not-
PG stream,
not
PG
meant
stream,
that way.
Clara,
It
PG
wasn't meant-
stream.
It wasn't meant to go that way, but the question is.
I'm just gonna say,
I'm just gonna say.
right here, right now, I was talking about the effects of the controller in the game. But yeah, so yeah, no, I get. Well, here's the thing. Here's actually an interesting thing which you've raised up real quick, and I wanna touch on that before
Sure.
we close. It becomes there's a point where the vibration becomes disruptive to your gameplay. So if the vibration is too hard and to the point that if you're firing, like, yes, I get for example, when you're doing a PS5 with the PS5 controller, there's that tension between when you're firing certain weapons in
triggers.
certain games. Yes, the triggers, especially shown in this game, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank
I was
into the
thinking
Richter
about
Part.
the same thing. I
Yes,
was thinking
Richter
about
Part,
the same thing
yeah.
because that game does not need those extra vibrations. It's quite another.
No, for me, what I feel is that there are a large number of players who enjoy feedback, good feedback on the controller. I feel a difference when just say you're playing Call of Duty, and you're firing a sniper, and you're firing an AK-47, or you're firing a carbine. There's a difference between the triggers. There's a harder trigger, softer trigger, and things like that.
It's true.
Now,
It's true.
that was properly in that was not that was well implemented in the dual sense in certain games in the PS5 the PS5 controller. Now with this dual sense edge, what more does it bring on the table? Does it diversify its feedback? Do I actually get the proper vibration? Say for example, if I hear rumbling, or rather if there's rumbling on the left side of my game, does the rumbling come from the left side of the controller, right side of the controller? I think this is something like that. Do I feel different set of like these are tiny details that I would like to see implemented with a new, or rather hopefully implemented in the new DualSense. But then again, that's it from us here at the Movie Jabber State of Fandom Gaming. I'd like to thank, first of all, what that I was told to, it is Gaming, is it not? Anyway, I'd like to thank our guest of honor, Queen Arrow, for showing up for this banter and everything else. Follow on Twitch, follow on our site. She's doing amazing stuff.
Yep.
And then to our Arcade Hero team, starting from Jotham to Brian to Chris to Clark A, Clara. Thank you guys for showing up. And of course, our wonderful viewers on YouTube and Instagram. Twitter. Our wonderful viewers on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have been your slightly crazy host, Kanyera.
Slightly.
And I will... Please.
Sober host.
Yeah. I will hope to see you guys in the next State of Fandom. Stay tuned. Come to MJX 2022. We will be there. All of these faces will be there. Hoping to see you guys there. Peace out.
Hopefully I'll be around.
Guys.
Yeah,
hopefully. Bye-bye.
Hopefully.
See you guys.
Gotham has called, and I have answered.
Go be a hero, Miles.
Look out below! Play nice.
Are you a calm and reasonable person?